Okay, students, the last class completed the structure of neurons. The structure of neurons. So this is the structure of neurons. How many parts of neurons? So how many parts in the structure of neurons? 3 parts. First one is cell body. Second one is dendrites. Third one is axon. So completed in the last class. Now we are going to discuss about types of neurons. Types of neurons, how many types of neurons? 3 types. First one is to unipolar neuron. Neurons. Second one goes to bipolar neurons. Third one goes to multipolar neurons. How many types? 3 types. First one goes to unipolar, second one goes to bipolar, and the third one goes to multipolar neurons. First one, let us see unipolar neuron. Unipolar neurons has, you see the cell body or cyton. Cell body or cyton. Cell body or cyton. Cell body, cyton. Only single axon is present. Single axon. 2 branches divide. So only axons originating from cell body or soma. Cell body or soma. So one axon is formation. Axon divide. Of what is the dendrite and of what is the axon like structures. So this is the dendrite and axon, but only it's a single axon, total axon. Axon actually they arising from cell body or soma or pericardium. So axons, so unipolar neurons, another name is the pseudopolar neurons. Pseudopolar neurons or unipolar neurons, both are the same. Why? Because so soma are cell bodies. So only arising from single axon is present. Only one axon. Axons divide. The symbol dendrites and axons. Acting the dendrites and axon is formation. So this is the root nerves. The rooted nerves, this type of the nerves in the unipolar neurons. Unipolar or pseudopolar neurons. So they has the unipolar and pseudopolar neurons has single axon is present. Single axons arising from cell body or cyton or soma. Is clear? So unipolar neurons, the rooted nerves, the unipolar neurons are pseudopolar neurons. So next now see bipolar neurons. So bipolar neurons are unipolar neurons or multipolar neurons. Anyway, the cell body or soma is compulsory. This is the cyton or cell body, axon, dendrites. So dendrites, cell body, axon. Cell body, dendrite, single dendrite and single axon. Single dendrite and single axon is present, is called bipolar neurons. Bi means two. Uni means single, only one. Only one is the only one single axon is present. And bipolars, bi means two. Two means only single dendrite, single axon. Single dendrite and single axon. Single dendrites also arising from cell body and axons arising from the cell body. Single axon and single dendrites. Dendrites arising from cell body, axon arising from cell bodies. The cell bodies need two types parts, the dendrites and axons. So that gives the two branches. One is the dendrite and another one branch is the axon is originate. So this type of the neuron is called bipolar neurons. Bipolar neurons occurs in the retina of eyes. This type of the neurons, the retina of eyes. So retina of eyes. Retina of eye. So eyes, inside the eyes, inside the retina, rods and cones also present. So this type of the neurons is present in the bipolar neurons. Bipolar neurons have single dendrite and single axon is called bipolar neurons. Now let us see multipolar neurons. So multipolar neurons, multi means two or more. Multi means two or more neurons. Two or more neurons means this type of the structures. Already previous class ne detailed explained. The multipolar neurons, this structure is the multipolar neurons. Multipolar neurons have cell bodies, dendrites and axons. But multipolar neurons, the dendrites, two or more dendrites, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. Multipolar neurons, two or more dendrites, the cell body is present and single axon. Single axon is present, two or more dendrites present. This type of the neurons is called multipolar neurons. Multipolar neurons have two or more dendrites is present, single axon is present. So this type of the neurons is called multipolar neurons. Multipolar neurons, the two or more dendrites arising from cell body or soma. Cell body or soma, and axons also arising from the cell body or soma. So depending upon the types of neurons, the depending upon the dendrites and axons, number of dendrites and number of axons. Axons, the types of neurons, three types. Unipolar neurons, how many dendrites and how many axons? Only the unipolar neurons, the single axon is present. And the next second one, bipolar neurons, how many dendrites and how many axons? So bipolar neurons, the single dendrites and single axon. Next third one goes to multipolar neuron. So multipolar neurons, how many dendrites and how many axons? So this is the two or more dendrites and single axon is present. So this is the based on the types of neurons. So the number of dendrites and the number of axons, the three types of neurons. So neurons, types of neurons, axons. Next types of axons. So types of axons based on the myelin sheaths may or may not be present. Myelin sheaths may or may not be present. Types of axons. The types of axons, the two types. First one is the myelinated axon, non-myelinated axon. Non-myelinated axon. So myelinated and non-myelinated axons, two types. Axons, two types depending upon the myelin sheath presence or absent. Myelin sheath present or absent, the axons two types. First one goes to myelinated axons, second one goes to non-myelinated axons. So myelinated axons, this type of the axon, this is one of the axon. This type of the axons axons, any neurons or any axon surrounded by myelin sheath is present. Myelin sheath is present. This type of the axon is called myelinated neurons or myelinated axons. Myelinated neurons or myelinated axons. Any neurons axon outer surface surrounded by the myelin sheath. This is the myelin sheath. Myelin sheath. Myelin sheath. So myelin sheath is present. This type of the axons is called myelinated axons. So non-myelinated axons. Myelinated axons. What is the use of myelinated axons? So myelinated axons. Any neurons have myelin sheath is present. Myelin sheath present is compulsory. Some places the naked places. Some of the places naked places or some of the places without myelin sheath. Some places are without myelin sheath. So without myelin sheath is called node of Ranvier. Node of Ranvier. So Ranvier, node of Ranvier. So node of Ranviers. What is the use of node of Ranviers? So one Ranvier nodes to the another one Ranvier nodes the nerve impulse jumping. Nerve impulse jumping, already previous class discussion. So nerve impulse jumping. So the jumping and the slowly walking and jumping walking. So jumping running. So the speed of nerve impulse. The speed of nerve impulse ne. So nerve impulse ne transmission through the axon. So axons outer surface covered by the myelin axons cannot outside the nerve impulse. Cannot outside the nerve impulse. The direct inside the axons, the direct target organs, the speed of nerve impulse are nodes of Ranviers. One Ranvier nodes to the another one Ranvier nodes the jumping. One Ranvier node to the another Ranvier nodes jumping and the speed of nerve impulse the one places to the another places. So it is clear. Myelinated axons. So myelinated axons means any neurons axons outer surrounded by the myelin sheath is present. This type of the axons is called myelinated axons. Now it's a non-myelinated neurons. Non-myelinated neurons. So this is the axons. This axons. So myelin sheath is not present. So myelin sheath is not present. This type of the axons is called non-myelinated axons. Non-myelinated axons means any neurons axons. Any neurons axons myelin sheath is absent. Myelin sheath is present and myelin sheath is absent. So myelin sheath absent any neurons axons. This type of the axons is called non-myelinated neurons. So non-myelinated neurons nerve impulse the slow transmission. Nerve impulse the slow transmission. This is the myelinated axons the nerve impulse 120 meters per second but only 30 to 40 meters per second. The non-myelinated neurons. The difference between the myelinated and non-myelinated axons. So myelinated axons nerve impulse the speed of nerve impulse. Non-myelinated axons the slow nerve impulse the transmissions through the axons. The differences the myelinated and non-myelinated neurons. Non-myelinated neurons some of the invertebrate animals the non-myelinated neurons. And next types of nerves. The types of nerves. So types of nerves, how many types of nerves? Generally 3 types of nerves. First one goes to sensory nerves, and the second one goes to motor nerves, and the third one goes to mixed nerves. Mixed nerves. So sensory nerves and motor nerves and mixed nerves. So sensory nerves. So sensory nerves, they sense The sensory nerves, the nerve impulse. Sensory nerves, the nerve impulse, the receptors, the nerve impulse receiving the receptors to the CNS. Receptors to the CNS. This type of the nerves is called sensory nerves. Sensory nerves almost the nerve impulse receiving. This type of the nerves, nerve impulse receiving the nerves. The receiving the nerve impulse through the sensory nerves. The sensory nerves, the nerve impulse, the receptors receiving the nerve impulse from receptors to the CNS. Receptors to the CNS. Receptor means receptors. Receptor means target organs, any one organs. Any organs, the nerve impulse receiving and the transmission or process to the CNS means central nervous system. Central nervous system, this type of the nerves is called sensory nerves. The sensory nerves, actually 10 to 12 pairs of the cranial nerves. The cranial nerves, the 3 types of the nerves means sensory nerves, motor nerves, mixed nerves. And motor nerves. Motor nerve means this type of the nerves. This type of the nerves, nerve impulse sending. Nerve impulse sending. Nerve impulse sending means so this is the CNS to target organ. Target organ. So CNS to the target organ. This is sensory nerves, nerve impulse receiving from receptors to the CNS, and motor nerves they clearly observed. So CNS to target organs. Target organs are receptor organs. The nerve impulse, the sending the nerve impulse, the receiving the nerve impulse, this type of the nerves, the sending the nerve impulse, the CNS to the target organs. And next third one, now let's see mixed nerves. Mixed nerves, this type of the nerves, the receiving and sending. Nerve impulse receiving and sending. So both the sensory function and motor function, this type of the nerves is called mixed nerves. Mixed nerves, the nerve impulse receiving and nerve impulse sending. So the two functions only, one type of the neurons. This type of the neurons is called mixed nerves. The receptors to the CNS and the CNS to the target organs. The only one type of the neurons. This type of the neurons is called, this type of the nerves is called mixed nerves. So nerves, the nerve impulse receiving and sending, they based on the 3 types. Sensory nerves, the sensory nerve impulse, the receptors to the CNS. Motor nerves, the CNS to the target organs, the sending. The mixed nerves, so this is the both functions, the receiving and sending. This type of the nerves only receiving the nerve impulse. This type of the nerves only sending the nerve impulse, and mixed nerves, the both functions, the sending and receiving the mixed nerves. This type of the nerves, the 3 types: sensory nerves, motor nerves, mixed nerves. Okay, clear? This is the nervous tissues. The nervous tissues, mainly the structure of neurons is completed, the types of neurons and the types of nerves, the types of nerves and neurons and the types of axons and the types of nerves, the 3 types of the nerves. So see the nervous tissues. The remaining next class, the next session continues.